Hello everybody, it's Chris Bezanoy, or Chris B, with CSB Security Inc. with yet another informative video. Today we're going to talk about knowing when to push back and knowing when to give in to Health Canada after they review attestations. Before we go forward, a little bit of a disclaimer. What I'm about to tell you is based on the last 5 years experience that I had dealing with Health Canada. It's based on over 53 attestations, back and forth, RMIs, lawyers, the whole 9 yards. But it is my opinion, and your opinions may vary. So, knowing when to push back and knowing when to give in is a pretty gray area. And the reasons being that if you push back too hard to Health Canada after answering an RMI, you may piss them off. You may still continue to be non-compliant because the reviewer believes that you are non-compliant, and pushing back does nothing more but delay your license. On the flip side, pushing back also may prove to Health Canada that you were right. Just because a reviewer says, hey, I don't agree with what you're doing, doesn't make it wrong. It's how you articulate to Health Canada that you are right in a respectful way. Here's an example. Current and I would say recent attestations that were sent include video surveillance of the fence line around an ACMPR or Cannabis Act site. Some reviewers have come back and said, well, that's fantastic. We like the cameras. They look great in the daylight and nighttime. However, we can't see the identity of a person at the fence line. Some clients have said, oh, sorry. Okay, no problem. We will install 50 extra cameras along the fence line to get identification quality images of anybody that happens to walk even close to the fence. Some of our clients have basically said, Chris, what do you think? What would you do in this situation? And the answer is pushback. Why? Because there's nothing in the ACMPR Cannabis Act that states you have to have identification quality images at the fence line. There's absolutely nothing in either document or either regulation that states you must see the identity of somebody at the fence line. Therefore, pushing back saved you 50 cameras and told Health Canada that's not part of the regulation. Why are you asking for it? We're pushing back because we don't have to do this. It may delay your license a little bit, but if you can prove to them that there is absolutely nothing inside the ACMPR or Cannabis Act that makes you do something that the reviewer is telling you need to do or asking you that you should do or hinting at what you should do, you're well within your rights to push back. And 9 times out of 10, you will still be correct. And you will get a license. It may take a few extra weeks, but you saved yourself 50 extra cameras, as an example. There are times where you may want to give in. If Health Canada says it appears there's a blind spot around your facility, throw up that extra camera. What is it, an extra $1,500 to get you a license almost 2 weeks after you install it? It's a pretty good deal. You may disagree with it. You may think to yourself, well, honestly, everywhere's a blind spot. Maybe there's blind spots here. Maybe if I dig a hole, I'm in a blind spot. It doesn't matter. You can argue that, but that's an example of how arguing it will just delay your license. The reviewer's telling you, in no uncertain terms, you've got a blind spot. Whether you believe it or not is immaterial. Sometimes adding an extra camera makes the situation go away, makes you more compliant, gives you a license faster. There are certain ways you can argue back to Health Canada. Believe me, do not be snippy to Health Canada. They are human also. Imagine if I came on your site and I said to you, you got a blind spot. What were you thinking? Do you not know how to do this properly? I'm pretty sure you're going to kick me in the nuts and make me go home. Let's treat Health Canada with respect. Let's let them know, oh, okay, please note, we understand what you're saying. However, we're solving the issue by ABC, and here's the reasons why. Here's how we're doing it. Let us know if this is sufficient information for you. Even if they flag something that they think is wrong, and you have to add an extra camera, don't say, yeah, we don't believe you. We think that we're still compliant. However, here's your extra camera because apparently we won't get a license until you make us install one. It's the wrong approach. They are human. They are working with you to get a license despite what people may think. Let's make it easier for them. So, knowing when to fight, knowing when to push back, and knowing when to give in is a decision you're going to have to make. I highly recommend you turn to your consultants. Turn to your lawyers. Turn to your security consultants. Turn to your application consultants and say, guys, what are we looking at here? Here's an RMI from Health Canada that flags 18 things. Which ones pertain to you, and do you believe that to be true? Maybe we didn't understand how you were doing things. I know often I'm brought involved with RMIs where Health Canada will say something like, how are you getting actual or attempted intrusions into the flower room? and you sit there and go, okay, that's an old part of the ACMPR that doesn't take into consideration the 56 exemption. Therefore, we don't need motions inside those rooms. Therefore, we don't need to detect illicit conduct or detect actual or attempted intrusions into the cultivation room. That's a time where you can feel like saying to Health Canada, kindly go back and read the 56 exemption that you guys released. The right way of doing it is say, oh, thank you for your observation. Oh, by the way, because of the 56 exemption, we don't need motions in those rooms. So therefore, we felt it was not necessary. Please let us know if we still need to move forward with a motion in those rooms and not be able to apply the 56 exemption. That's a nice way of telling Health Canada, go away, we're compliant, and here's the reason why. Anyway, don't feel that because Health Canada sends you 18 questions or RMIs and you're wrong. Don't feel that just because they're asking you about a certain thing, you have to jump to conclusions and go, uh-oh, they're looking for something here. I'm wrong. I need to fix it. They may just be asking for clarification. On the flip side, don't assume they're asking for clarification. Sometimes they ask you leading questions. As an example, I alluded to this in another video. If you're building out a phase 1 approach and you're using epoxy-coated floors and your phase 1 has epoxy-coated floors, that's fantastic. And if you somehow let Health Canada know your phase 2 doesn't, and you're doing a test grow fairly soon, Health Canada will ask you, how are you GPP compliant in your phase 1? How are you eliminating any contamination going into your phase 1 if during your test grow you're still doing epoxy-coated floors? That question back may simply have been, how are you GPP compliant in your phase 1 when you're building out your phase 2? If you don't know what Health Canada is getting at, if you don't cut them off at the pass, then they are correct. You just have to know which questions are asking for clarification, which questions are pointing out things that you are not doing well, which ones you are doing well, how you're compliant, how you're non-compliant, how you become compliant. Knowing when to push back, knowing when to give in. You have to go out to your consultants. You have to make that decision for yourself. There are options. Don't just always give in, but don't just always push back. So once again, it's Chris Besnoy with CSB Security Inc. We do a lot of these videos. I hope you found these videos well. I hope they're informative for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next video.